Hi, this is Dave from Heroes Needed, just one of the many fine shows you can find on the Nod Network. Visit us on nerdod.com or subscribe on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, or wherever else you get your favorite podcasts.
Oh my days, I can't believe you don't know Katy Perry Firework. I mean, it's only one of the greatest bangers of the 21st century.
Hello all, and welcome to the Nerd OD podcast. I am the artist formerly known as Sean.
Now known as Steve.
Right, that's accurate. I'm Dan, still known.
And I'm Reg.
Always have been known as Dan.
Although now Dan has a posh new haircut that I completely forgot about, and then saw him in a video call today and was like, who is this person? Oh yeah, it's Dan.
Are you calling a skinhead posh?
Well, I mean, honestly, it looks neater. It does. I mean, I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but Reg, it does look better, doesn't it?
Well,
it does look better.
What I realised is that video, because we're on Skype, and I showed you it via Skype, didn't I? But I forgot I had my black background blur on, so it clearly sort of softened the edges of my head anyway. So, oh no, but you saw my example video for the Bennick Ladies thing we're doing, didn't you? So you saw it properly.
I got really excited then. I thought you were talking about an example video, like we were doing an example track. And as you may or may not know, I'm actually a really big fan of example.
Example.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do one. We could do one of those. I don't know whether he still holds the same.
The same old me. You get bored. You get called me.
I don't know whether he still holds the same sort of sway as he used to back in the day.
Probably not.
By back in the day, I mean like 3 years ago.
I mean, what's weird, right, is I was on TikTok the other day, and one of the memes going around on TikTok at the moment is you'll have they'll play a couple of songs, right? Mm-hmm. And someone will and on the screen you'll see on the top left it will say I know this, and on the top right it will say I don't know this. And what the person does is will stand underneath one of those titles if they know the song or don't know it, right?
Okay.
And they were playing songs, and it was this girl. Oh yeah, and she had underneath her her year of birth, and she was like born in I think 2007, 2009.
Yeah. I mean that's typical TikTok sort of.
It's ridiculous, right? Well, no, because some of the other girl next to her, because it was a duet, she was born in the late 80s, so she was much older. But the songs that she didn't know were like songs that I thought, like Colby Calais. Who doesn't know that song? It's ridiculous.
What?
I don't know who Colby Calais is, to be honest.
Get the tinglies in a silly place. Starts in my nose and it's in my toes.
Nope.
Really?
No idea.
I do. I wouldn't have guessed who it was by. But I know it.
Then Firework by Katy Perry came on. And she was like, don't know this. What is happening?
Yeah, no, that's just someone who is after the comments and the likes.
No, I don't think it was.
Yeah. So everyone would be like, oh my days, I can't believe you don't know Katy Perry Firework. I mean, it's only one of the greatest bangers of the 21st century.
I think that might be the same with Example. If you played Example to the average sort of 16, 18-year-old, they're going to be like, this nonsense.
Maybe.
Give me back my Ed Sheeran and Colby Calais.
That's the only Example tune I can think of off the top of my head is the freestyle he did with Ed Sheeran over getting over Nando's black card. That's the only thing I can think of with Example did.
He got a Nando's black card.
Him and Ed Sheeran did a freestyle about how they deserve a free Nando's black card and how they should get one in the home.
Oh yeah, because they can't just afford to go to Nando's every day of the week for 3 straight meals.
I think you just said it best, Dan, when you said they're after the likes and the comments. Obviously, they were like, "Oh, let's do this. This will go viral," and it did. It went massive.
True. It's like in the 90s when McDonald's in America decided they would pay a royalty for every time someone said the word Big Mac in the song.
Mac.
Yep.
Nice.
It's the truth. And Abdominal, who is one of the greatest living MCs, made an entire song about it called Big Mac, and basically it's just about how they were doing that. So he decided he was going to make a song where he just said Big Mac like 60 times, and the ending of the song is him sort of calculating how much money they owe him for every time it gets played. It's fab. Just it's got to be on Spotify.
It is on Spotify.
Abdominal Big Mac.
Ridiculous. But that the reason why I was talking about the old stuff and people not knowing about it is I've just posted on my Facebook and Instagram story a soundtrack to a film, and I'm shocked at how many people have watched it but have not replied.
Okay, what is it? A question? Let me go on it. So on your Instagram story?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it from here.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me what it is. And I will be.
It's going to be High School Musical again, isn't it?
I will be shocked if you don't get it. Okay.
Okay.
It's not going to be High School Musical, but I was feeling bad the other day and watched that from start to finish.
Is that why you felt bad?
Yeah. Because it's over.
It was like 2 nights ago. Right, hang on. Right, you ready?
Yeah, go. Oh, is it Flight of the Navigator?
It is Flight of the Navigator.
Yes.
Reg, would you have ever got that?
I would have got that, yes.
Oh my god!
If I'd have kept my mouth shut for 2 seconds.
I was watching this video that popped up on YouTube, but it's like the top 10 interesting facts about Flight of the Navigator, and I was like, shit, how did I forget about that film? That was my favorite film as a child. I remember the title sequence with all the frisbees going across and the dogs catching them, and you've got that ditty like sort of slap bass going dum ba-dum 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 bum bum, like sort of Top Gun style, and oh my god, it's so good. But I'm shocked at how many people don't remember it.
You know, there's that Reddit subreddit, isn't there? It's like I was today years old when I learned. How many years old were you when you found out that Pee Wee Herman was the voice of the spaceship?
Oh no, I knew that ages ago. But how many years?
Well, when I was of the age that I was watching that, I wasn't watching Pee Wee. So it was like years later, and I started watching. I saw the Pee Wee Herman films, and then a few years after that, I saw, like, I was probably maybe about 19 or something, and I saw Flight Navigator again. I was like, that's Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, I bet you were today years old when you realised that it's the guy who directed Flight of the Navigator was the same guy that directed Grease, and the guy that did the soundtrack and the for the film is the same guy that did the soundtrack for Back to the Future.
Well, do you know when it started? You started playing that music then. For
it sounded like the start Back to the Future.
I was waiting for it. that little thing, and I was going, how does no one know? And then no, turns out it's not that.
But apparently the reason why it hasn't aged as well is because he did it all on synths, whereas with Back to the Future he had an orchestra.
Yeah. My mentioning of Reddit there, by the way, is a long-term segue that we need to double back to later, just to lay the groundworks here. At some point I'll go, oh yeah, so Reddit.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, carry on.
No, I just had a ton of other facts.
Like
one of the facts that always blows my mind, that I only found out, I think it was last year when I was today years old, that the Kinder egg, the actual the part you get the toy out of, is the yolk of the egg.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I never really thought of it like that, but yeah.
No, it is, because it's orange or yellow. It's literally the yolk of the egg. I never, ever knew that. That, my friend, blew my mind when I read it. I was like, oh my God, it is. And then I had a Kinder egg, and I was like, you're fucking right, it is.
I'm getting on that subreddit right now.
It's so good.
Well, Kinder eggs were actually like illegal in America up until 2 years ago.
Oh, they now legal again, are they?
Apparently 2 years ago. I was just Googling to make sure, before I stated that fact, I was just Googling to make sure it was true. And yeah, apparently, a news article from 2017 says, Kinder eggs are officially returning to the US more than 40 years after they were banned. So
Wow.
they're finally like, oh, just kids are sensible enough now not to eat the plastic. We have lots of proof now that America is smart enough to not eat plastic.
Well, only just.
Yeah.
I was today years old when I discovered that a gummy bear can work as a stylus.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
How
it
do
makes
we-
sense, doesn't it? Because of the material.
It's a material of gummy.
Yeah.
Okay.
A thing that sorry, just on my mind right now because I just read that someone has only realised today that the NBC logo was a peacock. I thought that was obvious. But talking about NBC, I've now finished on Disney Plus. There's a TV show called The Imagineering Story. I think it's 6
Yes, it's so good.
One of there's lots of stuff on Disney Plus that I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll rewatch that, or all these old shows. There's very little original stuff on it that I've seen. I'm like, that looks great. There's a Jeff Goldblum thing, there's Mandalorian, and then there's that, and I would love to watch that.
Have you not watched it?
So good.
I've not got Disney Plus yet.
So from
I will.
start to finish, it was amazing. Reg, have you seen the end of it? Have you seen all of it?
No, I've only seen 3 so far. Cause I've been watching it when Ash and Oliver were in bed. Because I know it's something it wouldn't hold Oliver's attention in the slightest.
No.
And I think Ash is just, she's at that stage where she's like, okay, can we just take a break from just Florida Disney talk for just 2 minutes and talk about what we're going to do to the house and maybe a beach holiday and other fun things? And I'm like, yeah, but it's a really fun show about how Disney World was created and how they come up with the rides, and it's so good.
It's fascinating. But what I like about it the most is as you progress through the episodes, it comes more up to date. Like the second to last episode you watched, they start talking about Ratatouille in Paris. And the building of it and stuff. And in the last episode, they're talking about Tron and the hanging, the hanging trees from Avatar.
Yeah.
But what
so it is very up to date.
Yeah, but what it manages to do is it shows you the cars being built, the Tron bikes being built, and it talks to you about how they took tips from Soarin' to build the Avatar ride, but it doesn't actually show you people on the cars and on the things that they build for Avatar. So it's sort of like they're making it spoiler free. You get what I mean? Because there might be people that haven't been on those rides, and I was like, shit, that's actually really considerate of them. But the very last scene, I mean, I don't know whether this is a spoiler or not, because you'll watch it, and but they're talking about how development is what the most recent thing they're developing is. And they get this it looks like a body. It is a body. It's a body. And they put it in this sort of net. And then there's this big countdown.
Oh, is it the Spider-Man thing for the new Avengers?
I don't know.
It's incredible the way
the animatronic that
and then it just comes it comes to life, turns into Spider-Man, does this weird backflip, and then lands in a net. Guys, we're going too far.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we're training robots how to fly through the air.
That's it. It was
so good when it actually becomes live.
My God.
It was about a 40-second video that went viral about 2 or 3 years ago of them demoing this. It wasn't dressed up like anything. It just showed 5 iterations of it. And first of all, it was just it does a little tuck. Next, it does a somersault. Next, it does the Superman pose and all that. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Exactly
it does. It does a tuck, a roll, and then it expands out. And then lands into this net, and I'm like, what am I watching? When this thing becomes sentient, we've made a parkour style killing machine, basically.
As long as there's nets everywhere, then we're doomed.
I'm gonna be all right with the Pirates of the Caribbean rides becoming sentient, because they can't move off the ships, but this thing can fucking fly. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but yeah, it was really good. Really enjoyed it. May have cried at the end of episode 1 when he dies. Spoiler alert: Walt Disney dies.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking about now? Is this? I thought it was a joke. The main character dies. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
It is amazing though how much people admire. I know it sounds daft, but people at work in Disney, oh my God, he is his ideas are brilliant. He was such a great boss. yeah, you're bound to say it. But you can just tell from the passion they talk about, and it's very rare you get that from like a boss. So you'd be like, oh my god, even on camera you'd be able to have like, it sounds daft even comparing this, and I know it does. But when you're watching the likes of Tiger King and they're like, Joe Exotic was just a dick, and they're being completely honest about it. With Disney, they are genuinely just like, look at all the stuff Walt's done for us. Like, look what he's done for the world.
Even
he's amazing. Yeah.
Even the people that work with him, who he was a dick to because he was notoriously a dick, even those people are like, yeah, I get it. I get why he had to do that. You know, or if he didn't do that, then that wouldn't have happened, and then, you know, it would have been different. But yeah, I had to have a mental breakdown to make fucking Snow White. What of it? You know. Yeah. But I mean, on that, the playing the video of Shanghai Disney opening, and he's reading out like word for word verbatim what Walt said when he opened the first Disneyland, changing it a bit because Walt started talking about this is the epitome of what America is, and then he started talking about, yeah, this is our Chinese friends, you know what I mean? So they changed it up a bit. But there was this bit about how they had to, I think it was in Japan. I'm not sure. It might have been one of the China ones, but how they had to change the ghost house, the haunted mansion, sorry, to something different because they don't believe in ghosts in the same way. Like ghosts have a completely different connotation, so they made it like mysterious instead, with this like, you know, nutty professor and his monkey, instead of doing the whole ghost
Phantom
thing.
Manor. No, not Phantom. Yeah, it's something like that. It's the one in, I think it's in Hong Kong or China. But yeah, it's not like the other ones, not just in that way. It's like, you know how Ratatouille and things like that, it's the trackless cars.
Yeah,
it's like that. It was the first ride of its kind, and it was just mind blowing.
You know what I would love? True. I would absolutely love. I was on one of the Disney pages. Ash is sitting opposite me. She's probably going to go mental again. Well, not again. She's going to mental because I was like, I will stop talking about Disney just a little bit. But I've been thinking about Disney rides and what I would like. But I was on one of the Disney pages and they're saying like, which character or which like franchise doesn't have like the ride show in any of the Disney parks that you'd actually love to see a ride based around. And I genuinely believe that a trackless ride like those that you go on, like a hunting trip with Gaston, would be incredible. I mean, who wouldn't want to go on a hunting trip with Gaston? And at the end of it, he just comes and gives me a massive hug and says, well done, Reg. I love you. And I'm like, I love you too, Gaston. You are.
Even if it is a robotic Gaston.
That's pretty unique. Also, how many Gastons would you have to have to get a hug round everybody?
Oh, no, just me. The rest, he's like, yeah, you all got to go. It's fine. You'll wait the 10 years it's going to be for me to get back there to finally be like, you've made it. It's been worth the wait.
So, apparently, as well, talking about
the Gaston series. All right. I think
I'd heard.
It's Disney Plus.
Actually, with Luke Evans and Josh Gad, yeah.
I love Josh Gad. But just before we move off Disney parks for a second, I was watching this.
Let's do a whole pod dedicated to Disney.
But I was watching this bit where they were talking about California Disney and how they wanted to build a new sort of area dedicated to the auto industry and stuff. And they started putting together like a track. And then all of a sudden they found out that Pixar was making the movie Cars, and they were like, oh my god, we didn't know. We'll just do that instead. And how that just came together by chance.
That's it, because Test Track it was carbon copied in California for the Radiator Springs races.
Yeah,
it's just them with a story.
Nice. I love Test Track as well. It's such a good ride. Good. Is that in Paris or is it?
No, at Epcot.
Mate, you're going to love that so much when you get there.
So Sean, this ride, you get into a car, like an 8-seater car, and you first of all go driving through this sort of testing facility.
You create the car.
Oh, that's right. They've changed it now.
Yeah.
They've updated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like panels that are attached to it. And it's quite good. You go, oh, let's go along a bumpy road, or let's go through superheat, let's go through super cold. They test the whole car out. and then they decide they're going to do the crash test. But just at the last second, when you're about to hit the crash wall, it lifts up and suddenly you're outside, and it goes on this like 1.5 mile long, like just test track, just out and around the building and back in.
You know, I'm going into Christmas. Is this a spoiler?
No, because it's fine. This is the ride. You can see it while you're queuing. You can see exactly what's happening.
I see.
But the point
also,
is,
I don't think it's going to be open at Christmas.
That's very true.
Shut your face. Shut your face right now. Shut your whole mouth.
You're going about 60 mile an hour in this car, and we've all been more than 60 mile an hour in cars, right?
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. But for some reason, on this ride,
feels
it
like
just is. It's just like, oh my God, this is so amazing as you go tearing around this track. And I don't know what it is, but there's something weird about it. I remember just coming off thinking, this is incredible. And then the more I thought about it, wait, it's just a car. Been about 70, 75, maybe faster in a car. That's just, okay. I mean, maybe it's because it's a convertible. I don't know. But or maybe because there's no driver. But soon that's just going to be old hat, isn't it?
Well, they've talking about cars that drive themselves. My car now understands what wheelie bins are.
Oh wow.
Honestly, when I got that car last year, it didn't know what a traffic light was. It didn't know what a traffic cone was. It didn't know what lines in the road meant. And now all of a sudden, it knows all this shit. Like I pull up at a junction and it's like, there's a traffic light. And I'm like, thanks. And then I'm driving down the road and it's like, there's a traffic cone. And I'm like, thanks. It's becoming, it knows shit. I mean, I know it's software updates but...
I've just got images in my head of just like you driving along and your car just talking to you, go, ooh, Steve, look to your left. There's a traffic cone.
It's exactly like, what's his name? Steve from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, you know, the monkey. Yeah. It's like him sitting in the back going, cone! Brilliant. Awesome. I've talked about this in the podcast before, haven't I? About the charging for the heated seats and stuff.
Yeah, you've got like things that are already in your car
that they're charged
have to pay for just to unlock.
Yeah.
What?
Have I not told you about this, Reg?
No.
So have I not talked about this on pod, Dan?
I know because I don't think we talked about your car on a pod. I'm not sure we've talked about your car on podcast because we've only just sort of picked back up again, haven't we?
That's true.
I mean, first of all, Sean has a Tesla. What is it? It's
a Model 3.
Okay, there you go. Just so everyone at home is aware.
I love it.
Wrong car, but anyway.
So much. It's like a go-kart. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's mostly computer. It's ridiculous. There's this big screen. It's got Netflix and it's got karaoke, which is amazing. Incidentally, the other day I figured out that karaoke actually works when you're on the move. If you try and activate it, it'll say, are you the passenger? And if you say yes, it'll just turn it on. So I didn't think it did that. But
Fair enough.
So the next road trip we go on, Dan, karaoke.
Do you remember, just kind of looping back to Disney, do you remember our road trip to Disneyland Paris?
Yes.
And we had nothing but a playlist of Disney songs.
And Rich
all the way.
Because he didn't want to listen.
This was driving from the Wirral all the way to London, across on the ferry, and then another 3-hour drive down to Disney and back.
Yeah.
But yeah, can you imagine that with karaoke?
I know. But we didn't need it, to be fair, did we?
No, we just did it anyway.
Under the sea. Yeah, anyway, so my car has, it's mostly computer, and I've got front heated seats, right, Reg? And it's good. You press the button, your bum goes warm. Brilliant. So they sent an update out to the app, because you have an app on the phone for it. And I turn on the app, and it says upgrades, which is new. And I'm like, okay. So I had a look at upgrades. And on the list of upgrades was rear heated seats. And I'm like, ooh. So how does that work? Do they fit them? Like, does a man come out and replace my seats? No. Apparently, my seats in the back have got heated elements in them, but it's software locked. And to unlock them, I need to pay £350. Thoughts?
350 quid to fucking heat your seats?
Yeah.
I mean, this is coming from a guy who fucking named his baby something you can't even pronounce, so you know he's a bit of a bellend.
Ash.
But still, Jesus.
But it's going for
Christ,
it's like
ridiculous.
It's like if EA Games owned a car, right? It's exactly the same. It's microtransactions. But
There's
what
microtransactions, and then there's taking the piss. 350 quid to heat your fucking seats.
what's also weird,
considering how much it is to buy one of these fuckers as well.
on the road price is 42. But this is the thing, right? If I was to sell you my car, right? So if I was to buy the rear heated seats, and then I was to say, Reg, buy my car. And you were like, all right. And I'll say, by the way, it's got rear heated seats as well. And you'd be like, cool. Anyway, you then get the car. There's a button you press, it says deregister, and then you have to register the car yourself. It's no longer got rear heated seats. You have to pay again if you want it. Because it's something I paid for me.
That is ridiculous.
There's other stuff as well that they haven't unlocked yet and they haven't started selling. For example, when I open my car door at night, sometimes, not all the time, these posh little lights will appear underneath my footwell. It's like a sort of, it's like a bright sort of creamy white colour, and they look really nice. And it also lights up the floor around the car as well. You know, when you open the doors, so there's lights underneath. Basically, they're like what do they call them? Not environmental, ambient
lights, yeah.
And they'll come on for a split second and then they'll just go off. They'll just disappear. And apparently, because it says on the forums that that's going to be another pack that they're going to unlock that doesn't only unlock the ambient lights, but also unlocks more speakers, so your car sounds better, and it's going to be a couple £100. The technology's in there. They're just like, we'll sell it to you. Like, we know you own the car, but do you want these extra lights? More money, please.
That's it.
Not sure how I feel. A lot of people are saying that, it makes sense because it cuts the price of the car down for production if they just put heated seats in all of them and then just charge you separately. But I can't work it out. I don't know whether it's okay.
That's utterly ridiculous. It's not okay. It's pathetic.
I mean, I'm glad you say that because I'm someone that really likes technology, but I'm just like, this is a weird business model, especially for environmental stuff. Like, there's heating elements in the back of my car that might never get used. You know what I mean? Take them out. Fucking, I don't understand.
It's crazy that it's cost effective enough for them to build it, to put them in, on the off chance that someone doesn't actually then buy the upgrade.
Absolutely. I just don't know how I feel about it. I also don't know how I got on the subject.
Test track. It was test track. But anyway, yeah. So Imagineering story.
More sentient. Organizing more stuff. Oh, one more thing before we move off. So the other upgrade that's available is full self-driving, which means the car will put me onto motorways and take me off motorways if I've got a location set in, and it will also have something called summon, which is if I'm, say for example, if you parked at the Trafford Centre and I park by John Lewis and then I come out by Selfridges and I'm like, where's the car? I can press a button and the car will come to me. So it'll drive itself. It's like a come to me feature. To have that is £7,000 if I want that. But they're talking about doing that. So instead of having like one hit, you just pay per month for it, and the per month value is going to be £100 a month.
You're going to do that. I know you're going to do that. There's not even a question about that.
We'll see.
I'd be like, maybe not, but the fact that you're going to come to my house and then you're going to stand at the end of the road, have your car parked at the end of the road.
Yeah, around the corner.
Reg, watch
in
this.
Morrison's.
Come to me. And then it's going to literally go like, ooh, traffic cone. Ooh, car. Ooh, door. Ooh, postbox. Ooh, Reg. I'm like, why is your car talking to me? Why is it doing this? It's going to be so confusing.
Brilliant. Love it. Anyway, sorry. Hijacking the pod to talk about my
whole point. This is the pod.
This is the pod.
Yes.
That sounds like the that episode of Community where Abid's making that film. This both is and isn't the movie.
Is
Remember?
that the documentary one?
It's the one where he starts playing Jesus.
Yes. Yeah.
Abid.
I have seen that one recently. I'm working my way through Community. I've never watched it in its entirety.
How are you finding it?
Fantastic.
Can you see why it's one of my favourite shows?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. It's so good.
Have you watched the Dungeons and Dragons episode with the guy from Arrested Development yet? What's his name?
No, I've not got to that one yet. I've only had one Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Did that help you? Did that help you with how we're playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Well, I said this. Yeah, I said that's it's crazy because you guys have been trying to get me to be interested in this Dungeons and Dragons thing for ages, and I've been a little reticent. You should have just gone, hey Dan, go and watch that Community episode. It's great.
For the benefit of the listeners, we've actually been playing Dungeons and Dragons for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, but not subjecting everyone to it yet.
Yeah,
why?
We've done one campaign. We're going to start subjecting people to the second campaign because we didn't want to have like an hour of what does that mean? So I roll a d20. What does saving throws mean? I mean, nobody still knows. We're still pretty much fucked apart from Reg. But Dan, how have you found it? Because I haven't.
It's interesting. I still don't get it. Because you could just say anything you want.
Well, you can, but you get killed. I think the Dungeon Master's have been very kind to us on this first one, but
fair enough.
I think that there's a possibility that you could try and say anything you want, but you will just die.
I don't get there's some really steadfast and strict rules. Like the Dungeon Master has his map, he has his characters, and he knows what's going to kill something, what the weakness is, the strength, all this. But then there's also this whole other aspect of it where there's just no rules at all, and you can try whatever the heck you like. Like you're a perfect example, Sean. Just things. Just I don't know the way you just decide. Yeah, I'm going to do this and that, and then we're like, don't do that. No, it's fine. Like, oh, the guy notices you, and blah blah blah. I'm going to grab his big longsword and see what happens. No,
but that's the thing. I tried it and it didn't work. That's the whole point. So you exist in a world where you can try mad shit. I mean, Reg, you'll back me up here, but I'm pretty sure that if I would have rolled the right stuff, or if that room was set up in the right way, I potentially could have surprised him.
So he will, if he's got a character. So if the DM's got a character actually in there for a sole purpose of, say, example, like that guy was the big bad. He was the boss of that. There's no way that we could have stealthed in, nicked his sword and then stabbed him with it and just killed him without him knowing we were even there in the first place, because he wouldn't have, the DM wouldn't have allowed that, but he would have let us try it, mess it up badly, and then either all of us getting killed or just the boss making an example of Steve. So as Steve went to steal the sword, he would have grabbed Steve, slit his throat and threw it to us or something like that.
I mean, I stayed safe for the first 3 goes of that boss battle because I was hiding behind Reg. The team knew that I wasn't just being a wimp. I was going to try something amazing. But, the fact of the matter is that also kept me safe as well. So
because you're a monk and, Reg was a tank or something.
I think there's a degree of how good the DM is.
100%.
For you to have that opinion that people can do what they want, because he's not stopping me and being like, don't be stupid.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Because
I think he's done really well.
A pretty entertaining story, but to know, as soon as someone says, I'm going to do this, for him to go, oh, okay, well, that you need to look at your score on this and then roll a 7-sided dice and multiply it by the age you were that you lost your virginity and plus this on it. Just to go straight to all that. Fair enough. It takes some practice. Yeah. I'm glad we've got someone like Doddy.
Yeah, same. So I do agree to a point. It is a game where you can fucking try some crazy shit, like what Dave did with that move of taking out 2 people with 1 sword. But there's also a degree of you getting fucking spanked if it turns out that you roll the wrong thing. There's that other thing as well where you can do fatal misses. Where if I was trying to sort of stealth behind Reg and I rolled a 1, there's a potential that I could fucking trip up and Reg could accidentally slit my throat. You know what I mean? There's
accidentally.
Well, but that's true, isn't it, Reg? If you try something out, you roll like really negative numbers, the DM can proper fuck you up for trying stupid shit.
Yeah, massive. Well, I was going to. So I listened to that Critical Role podcast, and this is the second campaign of it. So the guys know what they're doing and all that sort of stuff. And this is a huge spoiler in a way, but there's a character in the second season who he must have spent like months and months and months doing like his whole backstory, getting everything all together, sorted, crafted, and then literally he was like, I'm going to try this one thing, and didn't check his health properly and just went to do this one particular thing, and the DM literally just murdered him. He was like, right, okay, if that's how you want to play it. So he made sure that he set the example of it and was like, if you're going to be a dick, this is what happens, and just literally killed the character off completely. And then the voice actor who plays the guy who plays him was out for like a fair few episodes and came back with a brand new character and was like, right, this is my second character now. And he's working through the second character, but it was something no one expected because he was such a loved, well-known character that everyone's like, oh, he's going to be like the one, he's going to be the favorite throughout it all. And because he was like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, and I've got this I've not tried yet, let's try this. And you could tell the DM's like, are you sure you want to do that? And he's like, yes. Like, well, okay. So like he warned him in effect, and like in a nice way to be like, don't do that. And he's like, no, I'm going to go for it. He's like, right, well, you're dead. So that could happen with any of us because we're starting recording our D&D podcast on Thursday. So there's a very high chance that, because the character you're playing, Dan, if we're keeping these characters, if you try and do the Cockney accent far too much, I'm just going to whisper to the DM, make sure he dies. And it could be over something so petty as you go to take some money out of like a coin bag and you didn't know it's trapped because you didn't check for traps. That could have a bomb in it, and that could murder you. So that could just blow you up to pieces and we couldn't save you. And then you'd have to craft a new character.
I mean, I think
it's ridiculous how much thinking you've got to do. Like you said, Doddy let us off just so we could have a little play and sort of understand some core concepts around it.
Yeah.
But if you go into stuff blindly, just go, no, fuck it, this will be fun, let's just see what happens. Yeah, you genuinely have to think as though you are that character going into like a cave or a building. If you're going into an enemy stronghold and you're not looking about every 2 seconds to make sure there's no one there or there's no traps set up, like guarding a particular thing, in real life you would do that if you had to go into somewhere. You would make sure you've got people looking all over the place.
I mean, I think there's a degree of impartiality that the Dungeon Master needs to have, and Doddy definitely has that, which is good. But practically and realistically, when we played that first game, and I'm like, listen, I like this guy, I'm going to give him a hug. Like, I could have died. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I literally would have had to have sat out the next 4 calls. I just would have. So yeah, it's interesting.
And it's also entertaining with the fact that like he's got other groups that he plays with who obviously all know how to play it and play it like obviously dead seriously. Whereas the first thing we did was like, do you reckon we could ride those minecarts? He's like, don't bother. Right, okay, what we're going to do? And then we set up like a 20-minute conversation about how we're going to jump in these minecarts.
Well,
like,
that guy just, that non-player character just storms ahead and was like, this is stupid.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a one-shot, I was told. So like, yeah, well, this one episode and we'll be in and out and it'll be done. It was just, let's get you adjusted.
We made
4 episodes later.
We made it more than that.
No, that's what I mean.
So I get your point about like making it, you can just do what you want. Like, we it all depends on the people that are playing, and I've really enjoyed it. I think we do really well, and I'm excited to play more. I really am.
So speaking of which, you guys, this is obviously mainly off pod, but you need to craft your backstories if you haven't already done it, because we're about to have to explain to everyone who our character is and why they are the way they are and stuff. So You'll need to think of a decent backstory for Thursday, you dudes. Yeah, so get your shit together. In Doddy's sense, what he said was, can you just make sure the guys get the shit together?
Well, that's never going to happen.
Well, why aren't you going to?
Until we played for about 6 months straight, then maybe maybe I will just about be at the point where I can confidently say, oh yeah, I've got it roughly together now.
Oh no, I just mean like make sure you know who your character is, because when we do the introductions, obviously with it going to be the proper thing on Thursday, you're going to need to know. I know yours is well easy because you're Alan Sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a case of like,
my
but you need to know
is recreated.
but you need to
IRL.
Yeah, you need to know like where he was from in this world and what companies he bought up
he's
in this
from
world
Peckham,
and how he's doing it.
Grew up on the streets of Peckham selling like
Peckham
car
doesn't
radios.
exist.
The
in
village of
Neverwinter.
Peckham.
Peckhamshire.
See, I'm gonna have to come up with a reasonable excuse as to why I'm so fucking mental. Like, there's got to have been something to happen in my previous history.
You, sir, were climbing a building using your monk skills, like literally missed a brick, landed
Fell
on
off
your head.
Brilliant.
That's why that is. But I've spent ages actually doing like a full-on huge, massive backstory for my dude.
Okay.
So that's going to get literally brought down to about 3 words, I think, because we're not going to have enough time to play if we do all these. So it's going to be like, yeah, I'm all right. Let's do this.
Brilliant.
So that'll be fun. But I am looking forward to it. Something good. Because so I have been I have the past 2 days off. Because obviously yesterday was Ash's birthday. And we had a lovely lockdown birthday. It was delightful.
Oh,
we walked all the way to the garden. Walked back up the garden. I had some food and then took a little mini stroll around the block. Because we're in Wales, we're not in England like you. We don't.
Oh
get
yeah,
the
so you've got
all that
still
stuff.
got more restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we queued for over 2 hours to. Oh, Steve, in the in Starbucks.
Oh, Starbucks! I'd do it again.
But yeah, so that was.
Today.
You stayed in your car though; it's nice and safe.
I had karaoke on. Don't know what you're talking about.
Excellent. But so we did that, and then today I've been up in the loft, and because we realised we've got no room anywhere, so we need to start putting stuff up in the loft because all of his stuff has just taken over the whole of the house. So, and I was like, right, so all the stuff we had that was ours went in the spare room. But now we realise that he needs a playroom so we can move all the stuff from around the house into the one specific room and then get rid of all the stuff he doesn't use, etc. So I was like, right, so all the stuff that's in the spare room needs to go up in the loft. Up in the loft, there's no room because it's all my stuff from the games room that's like taking over a mountain of boxes with like all the retro consoles and stuff on. And I was like, right, I've been keeping these for Oliver to play with. Like when he's older, start him off on the Nintendo, then move to like the SNES.
Yeah, real time.
Actually go through it all properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he needs to stay on SNES for at least 6 years.
You need to release the games in literally in real time. He needs to do them in order, like I can't. Sonic 1 was amazing, Dad. Didn't they make up to they did 3 or 4 of them, didn't they?
No, not yet.
But got a couple of years before Sonic 2 is going to come out, mate.
And you've got to take him through the shit games as well, like Goo Fighters and stuff.
Yeah, because we had to discover those.
Yeah.
So he needs to as well.
Unless
he can appreciate.
if you do the thing you used to be able to do where on Sunday I could set up like a Sunday market stall in the garden and you can come and trade a game for a $5.
Yeah, that's it.
That. This is what I used to do. That's money. How I remember I was going through my games on the Master System, and I was like, I could have swore I had Spider-Man, and I had so many amazing Master System games like Spider-Man and stuff, and I was like, where are all my Master System games? And then on the back of one of the boxes, it was just had the $5 trade sticker, and I was like, oh yeah. And it's I used to go to Liverpool Sunday Market every Sunday when my mum and dad used to go and take my game with me and be like, got my pocket money, right? I want to swap for this, so I trade my game and a $5 for this new game, and I was like, that's incredible. But I've been going through all my consoles and stuff, and like I said, I've got them all, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to buy adapters and all sorts to get them working on the new TVs because they won't work on.
Just emulate them
on new TVs.
Yeah,
which is what my next thing was. I was like, do I now just sell these? And do I just literally get like the
get a Retron 5,
the Retron 5 console and stuff, and just let him play them on there? Because it'll save the hassle of all of like carting around literally 8 boxes full of games and consoles, and like it's heartbreaking when you look at it. But then also looking at them as well, I'm like, I don't know if he will be that arsed, because by the time he's obviously old enough to play on games and stuff, they're going to look incredible. Like, have you seen after last week's conversation when we're like, the games aren't going to look that
great.
Unreal
Engine 5.
The Unreal Engine 5 comes out, and like, this is what the games can look like. Like, shit.
See, Reg, I think I'm a little bit. I'm older than you, aren't I?
Yes.
I think I started gaming a little bit earlier than you then in time, as in I went through that stage of games on cassette.
Oh, I did that. I had the Spectrum, ZX Spectrum.
I had the Amstrad.
Commodore 64, the Amstrad, the Amiga, the Atari ST.
Microcomputer.
So you're gonna so when he's about like 7 or 8, are you gonna force him through the stage where he has to wait 5 minutes for a game to load?
I'm going to sit him in front of the Commodore 64 cassette player, press play, and then just be like, right, mate, how long can you last before you get epilepsy?
Yeah.
Just remember like all the fucking different multicolored lines going.
Get him playing Yu Ya Kung Fu and keep teasing him with Mortal Kombat.
So it's like all this, and I was like, you know what? So I stuck them all on. I took photos of them all, and I was like, I'm just going to stick them on for sale. Like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sell all my old consoles. And then I was like, how far do I go up? And I was like, do I sell like the classics? Do you just do like, the NES, the SNES, the Mega Drive, Master System, N64? And then I was like, do I also sell my GameCube and my Dreamcast? And like,
well, and we will play GameCube games.
Yeah, and I was like, the only thing that I would probably keep out of everything is obviously just my Shenmue games. But then I was like, I might as well sell the Dreamcast, because I will never play the Dreamcast again. And like, because I know I won't. I struggle enough now to try and set up the PS4 and play the PS4. So like trying to go through the hassle of grabbing up in the loft every time I want to jump out and play on a Dreamcast or whatnot, there's no point. But then like, are they really worth anything? Would I literally just sell the Dreamcast and be like, hey, here's Dreamcast with like 49 games? Yeah, 50 quid. I was like, how bad's that?
Really?
So I was like, I was literally looking through all the NES and the SNES stuff, and I put them all up on pages. And I had no interest to begin with. No one was like, yeah, I'm interested in that. And then I was like, I wonder if I just bundle them all together. And then people were like, 700 quid, 600 quid, 700 quid, 750. I'm like, right, okay, so people are interested in the retro stuff. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to pull the plug, and then I can actually start doing stuff to the house that run, put money towards it to do things to the house. And Ash was like, no, you put that money towards your new laptop that you want, or like, your Oculus Rift and that sort of stuff. And I'm like, and now it's real. I'm like, I've put them all in like a Sega box now, and I like a Nintendo box now. I'm like, now they've all been, instead of in 7 boxes, they're in 3. It's like,
a bit more manageable to keep now.
Is that enough room to keep them up in the loft now? I'm like, but the money's there, and I'm like, that's quite good money too. I could do stuff with that money. But like, so I've had a very interesting afternoon, evening of going, what am I going to do? But then there's, like I said, if I don't get rid of them, they're literally going to sit up there, and the longer they sit up there, you're probably gathering dust. Are they still going to work? Because like I was looking at the Sega Saturn stuff, and like the games, because I bought a load from like charity shops, like the Sega Saturn stuff, and like the ones that I bought, no one looked after them, and it's shocking. And it's like when I went to Game Station, I found like a load of like Master System games and SNES games and stuff to go with my collection. Like my collection's all nicely looked after. And then you see the state of like the labels and the cases, the stuff that I bought, because it was dead cheap, and I was like, fuck it, I love that game, I'm going to add that to my collection. And then you look at it, it was only £2, but the case is a bit goosed. Or like people with their instruction manuals with all the passcodes in, and I'm like, awesome. And it's like level 3 is ZX42799 F4 32679. I'm like, yeah, I missed that. And I miss doing all of that. Now we just have quick save.
Yeah. Do you remember when you had to use game genies as well? You got to get them involved in game genies.
Yes. No, what? The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a burner phone and I'm going to do one of those cheat hotlines. So, when you used to have in the back of your PSN magazine or like your...
I'm having trouble with level 4 of Super Mario World. Have you tried jumping off the thing and did you know that this little... I never called one, but I did have mates that did.
I was always intrigued to know, like, because those are the ones they advertised as well. It was like, you stuck on Sonic level 3. Yeah. And I'm like, if you stuck on Sonic level 3, imagine being on the other end of the line. Right, if you try pressing right and C to jump, yeah, do that.
Can you imagine that being your full-time job, though, if that was still a thing? Like,
I would lose it. I would lose it so much. But the thing is, people now phone up and be like, right, okay, on GTI 5, where's like the 79th briefcase?
Yeah.
And be like, if you try pressing right and pressing C to finish the level.
I just had a blowjob from a hooker, and I was just wondering.
If I run them over, do I get my money back? Or did I catch syphilis? It's like, that just goes to show how advanced we have. Like, you would never be able to do that now. Thankfully, there's the internet. But it's weird. It is bizarre now. I'm just like, that's crazy. But he's seen me and Ash were playing Super Mario, the new Super Mario Brothers on the Switch the other night, and I forgot to put it away. And Oliver's seen the Switch. And you've probably seen the photos that I put up on Facebook of, like, now, especially in profile one, of him holding the Switch controller with like a really puzzled look on his face. Like, he looks like he's about to rage because he's just died a lot on the game. But he knew exactly what he was doing with the pad, and that was a scary thing. Like, he didn't know it was controlling the TV because he's only ever seen the Switch handheld mode from like one of our nieces. She would show him the Untitled Goose Game, and he knew that Y honks. So, like, he'll grab it and start pressing the Y button to hear the honk noise. So he was like, oh. So every time he sees it now, he gets so excited when he sees the Switch. He's like, oh, yes. I'm like, good. I'm happy that you're getting excited by games. But at the same time, leave my fucking games alone for now.
Yeah. Don't use my save.
Yeah, I was like, because I even had to set up a new save app. Just in case he went over, like, pressed a button that he didn't mean to press. Because he's already fucked me over so many times on the PS4 by going over and just pressing the off button. Because with PS4 and like the Xbox, like Xbox One X, you can literally just leave it in rest mode, and then you can just like boot the console back up again and just load it straight back up again from where you are. And it's like the amount of times I used to just, like, that's my norm. I literally just put games in rest mode and just leave. And now the amount of times he's like, "Oh, Dad, are you going to put Mickey Mouse on?" No, okay, beep.
So now you've got like wireless pads and stuff. You need to get I don't know. You've seen the one I've got, the Besta TV stand thing, because what you could do is get like little like lockable doors and put the PlayStation behind it, and then you can't see it.
Well, we've got the TV up on the wall now, so that we're going to get shelves and we're going to put like the PS4 and the Switch and stuff up on the shelf.
Love it. Oh, have you seen? There's a picture on Reddit that's really interesting. What they've done is they put the TV on the wall, and rather than hiding like the games console and the TiVo box and stuff, they've also mounted them to the wall as well, and ran the wires in like sort of square formations. I know what you're on about. Yeah, so it looks awesome, doesn't it? It looks so good. Like, so there's all this like technology shit on the wall, but it looks like it was made for it. It's amazing. Obviously, maybe don't try that because I should kill you.
Yeah.
So, Dan, what was the segue you're going to take us to at the end of the pod? Because I think we're there.
Well, I was just going to say, depends how far through we are. Oh yeah, 55 minutes. It was. We talked a while back, me and you, about doing a new podcast where we would. No, well, there was that, but where we sort of looked at a different subreddit every week and just talked about some of the things that they discuss on it. And over the last sort of...
I don't remember this.
We were in London. We were in a pub in London.
Did you come up with a name for it?
I think so, and then we realised it had already been taken.
All right.
So we were going to call it Down the Reddit Hole or something like that, and it's already a thing. But I've been sort of stockpiling some Reddit articles over the last month or two, and I thought I'd just, bring them up on here and let's have a bit of a chat about it. So I've got lots. I'll only go into one this week, but it might be a good little recurring thing. But I saw one the other day and it made me think, do you know what? I want to talk about this, like now. So this was just on our Ask Reddit. Okay. If instead of rebooting movies, it became a trend to retell them from a different character's perspective, what film would you want to see retold and from whose point of view?
Karate Kid.
From
what's his name? The other kid.
From the bad guys.
Because I want to see once and for all whether he was a dick like all the rumors say. Because apparently LaRusso was a twat.
But isn't Cobra Kai that kind of?
Oh yeah, maybe, but no. But they talk more about modern day. I want to see them I want to see him as a kid. Wait, that sounded weird.
Just a bit, mate. Just a bit.
Mighty Ducks from the Russian team. Well, Mighty Ducks 3 or whatever one it was from the Russian team's perspective.
Dumbo from the perspective of his mum. It's really dark shit.
I mean, it'd be a pretty short film, right?
No, she doesn't die, does she?
Doesn't she? Well, why is she not about at that point? Is
she gets
still
captured.
Oh, okay. That would be a pretty dark film.
Yeah.
It would just be all of a sudden like, oh, look, he's got wings. The end. There'd be none of that racist build-up. Have they? Is Dumbo on Disney Plus?
It is.
Have they edited it?
I mean,
don't think so.
You've got the new one as well. So, the question again: if you could. Are
we moving off this already?
No. Same question. I'm just trying to get it straight in my head. So what we're doing is we're trying to retell stories from the perspective of a different character.
Correct.
That story.
Yeah. So I'll give you some examples from Reddit. So the top comment was The Matrix from Agent Smith's point of view. So he's just constantly trying to quell the stupid human insurrection.
Yeah.
Let me see.
The original Turtles film in the style of Shredder. I would love to see when he's just like getting all his plans together, and then all of a sudden.
So they go off on a thrilling mission. That sounds like the Turtles movie if it was directed by Kevin Smith, because you know how he says when he was they were asking him to do the Green Hornet movie, and he was like, look, if I did that, it would be Green Hornet and Kato would be standing next to the Black Beauty, and they would go, oh, look, there's some criminals over there, and you'd see them walk off screen, you'd hear some fighting, and come back over and go, yep, that sorted them out, because you can't do action. And that sounds like that sounds like a cop-out to not show any action, because it's just Splinter. Turtles, you need to go and save April O'Neil. All right, we'll be back. Make sure we've got some pizza.
Oh, no, I said Shredder, not Splinter.
Oh.
If you did it in style Shredder, because Shredder wants to take over the world and be all evil and stuff. So, like, his plan's just about to go, like, finish off. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these four annoying fucking teenagers just come and you're like, ugh, nothing worse than 3 annoying teenagers and Michelangelo, who's awesome. So I think that would be really interesting.
I think I'm going to stay with the Disney. I'm going to stay with the Disney theme for a second, and I'm going to say Andy from the perspective of all the Toy Stories, because I think they could potentially make that into a horror film. And like he's technically a little bit haunted, and every now and again, like you see a glimpse of what's happening. And you could also make it a completely different film, because remember, Andy spends most of the time not with the toys. So what the fuck was he doing?
So at no point do you know that the toys are alive?
No.
Because you just see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Interesting. He just comes back to his room and he's like, I don't remember putting that there.
Yes, absolutely. It's just really eerie. It's more like about what you don't see. You know, like what was that film where it was creepy? Don't remember. Anyway.
Puppet Master.
You could make it creepy, but also make it a completely different film.
This is a film, Steve. This is a film we have to do. It's like because in America you're allowed parody. Parody is okay. You can have characters that are almost identical to their actual real counterparts, but because it's a joke, it's allowed.
You play it straight as well, so it's not an animation. It's just a film about a kid.
Exactly, completely.
We could make the story whatever we want, but then just make it every now and again, just like, I didn't leave that there.
Yeah, and they're really good intention. They're like these toys are lovely. They love their owner.
And then jump cuts as well. Jump cuts to like Molly walking in and being like, Andy, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and you have every at one point you'll pass the Christmas tree and there'll be the little toy soldiers just hanging in there with the radio. And you're like, what's happening?
Absolutely. Or you walk past the Christmas tree and the Christmas trees just move just a little bit, and you're like, that's weird.
I like this. I mean, I know we've come up with movie ideas before, Reg. We have our children's TV horror movie trilogy that one day I will sit down and I will try to write something. But this is added to that list now.
Nice.
I like it.
I love it. I'm in.
Okay, I like it. I'm just trying to see some. There you go. Star Wars from the Empire's point of view. I mean, that would be interesting.
No,
because as far as I'm concerned, they're doing absolutely nothing wrong. Everything is fine.
No, they know they're wrong. They talk about the dark side all the time. They know they're the baddies.
I suppose we do get a bit of point of view at the beginning of Force Awakens by seeing Finn sort of realise that he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. Willy Wonka from the point of view of an Oompa Loompa who is working to ignite slave rebellion amongst his people.
No, not even that. Like Willy Wonka is an Oompa Loompa that's got the mindset of just wanting to get his job done, and his boss and all these fucking kids keep getting in the way and dying. It's like constantly like, what the fuck is it now? What do you mean she's purple?
It does take a twist, doesn't it? Like,
so do you think he would be on like on a therapist chair, like just having counselling, and that's what the story?
I just want to make chocolate.
Start. It's like, all I wanted to do was just do my job.
Yeah.
He actually brought this old man in. What the fuck? It's a protected area. We're trying to keep things clean. They didn't even have gloves on. This is where the coronavirus has come from.
Someone ate a chocolate bat and it was all.
It was covered in grandpa.
Frozone. Where was his super suit? I like
what?
That one.
No.
That was someone's suggestion.
See, they're not. I don't know. We can do so much better than the ones you're reading.
Jurassic Park Lost World, except from InGen's perspective.
Nah.
No, I don't think anything to do with Jurassic Park from any other perspective, because you get both perspectives.
Oh, I don't know. If it was just through the eyes of a T-Rex.
Just the first hour of the film is him just sitting there in the jungle every now and then and gets to eat a cow.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, hang on, the lights have turned off.
Or the story of Jurassic Park told from the perspective of the cow. Like it's got this massive backstory. It's been on this huge adventure.
Well, you have no idea that it's a Jurassic Park movie up until the point where they open up his cage sort of at the docks and you see the InGen logo. You're like, oh no, this is going.
Things like Babe. It's just this really long like.
Yes.
It's a long.
Yes, they talk. I like it.
He's got kids and everything. Like, oh my god, this is brilliant.
That would be awesome. I'd be up for that. I think we should create that as well.
Okay.
Or, right, I don't know whether this is too dark or not, but Wreck-It Ralph told from the perspective of the guy that owns the video game store, and it turns out that he's like a proper bad man. Have I just got too dark?
Literally. So he are you saying that the people in the games know what he's doing?
No.
And he's got a computer full of very questionable material?
No, they don't know. Because
Okay.
we're not seeing it from their perspective.
So it's just a guy who's creepy who works in an arcade?
Yeah.
Interesting. It's not really Wreck-It Ralph in any way then, is it?
Well, no, it isn't until the point when some girl pulls the steering wheel off the off one of the games, and he gets really pissed off.
Sugar Rush.
And he goes after her family.
Okay. I don't know whether Disney would sign off on this.
You never see that character ever again. So, like, in the film part, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll order a new part." But in the background, he's like, "Disobedient little shit. I'm gonna go for a dad."
Oh, Red, someone here said Beauty and the Beast from Gaston's perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
They show him as a lad eating 4 dozen eggs every morning to help him get large.
Nice.
Mm.
That's it. That's the winner right there, ladies and gentlemen. Get him the job at Disney.
I think that's it.
That'll do.
It's a good place to end.
Yeah. Do I need to come up with a theme song for our little dip into Reddit if we repeat this?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, interesting. Thanks.
Thing I know you're good at theme songs.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, you literally brought that on yourself. We didn't even think about that, and then you're like, "Do I need to do this?" Right. And the hope would be like, "Yes."
Although I can't remember any of your theme songs all of a sudden. Oh yeah, that's Kazooie tunes.
You know what? I actually was organising all my music in Final Cut and everything into different genres and arts, so I could, I can go, I need something upbeat here and stuff like that. And I found my folder with all the theme songs. Yeah,
nice.
Loads.
See, now if we ever started doing a Patreon account, you could use that as one of the tiers.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That'd be awesome.
Right, let's wrap up because I need to pee.
Okay.
Excellent.
Well, thank you both for joining me, and thank you everyone at home for listening.
Potentially a special guest next week.
Yeah. This better be special.
Well, I mean,
or she.
I've been Sean.
Steve.
I've been Dan.
Reg.
Oh, that's the problem with Skype.
Bye.
See ya.
Toodles.